I'm 53 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Almost everything you believe about life, success, happiness, and time is a lie. Not because you're stupid, not because you weren't paying attention, but because the world taught you the wrong things, and you never stopped to question them. And the people who should have told you the truth, your parents, your teachers, society, they either didn't know, or they were too scared to admit it. For the first 40+ years of my life, I believed the same lies you probably believe right now. I thought I was doing everything right. I had the job, the routine, the status, the well-trained smile I wore every day. I thought that if I just worked hard enough, sacrificed enough, and pushed myself long enough, life would eventually reward me. But at 53, something happened that shattered all of that. And what I've discovered since then has changed the way I see everything. Relationships, purpose, fear, time. Before I tell you what happened, there's something you need to understand. I'm not sharing this to sound wise. I'm sharing it because you still have time, and I don't want you to waste it the way I did. Not for my sake, for yours. One afternoon 2 years ago, I was driving home. It was supposed to be a normal day, nothing special. Then out of nowhere, I felt this sharp pressure in my chest. Not pain, pressure, like someone pressing an invisible fist against my sternum. I brushed it off. Stress, fatigue, probably nothing. But it didn't stop. By the time I pulled into my driveway, my hands were trembling. I sat there in the car, gripping the steering wheel, realizing something was deeply wrong. I ended up in the emergency room, and as I lay there hooked to machines watching doctors and nurses move around me, one silent, horrifying thought repeated in my mind. Is this it? Is this how my story ends? Halfway? It wasn't a heart attack, but it was a warning, a loud one, a real one. And the terrifying part, it took a scare like that for me to actually see my life clearly. Lying in that hospital bed, with nothing to distract me, no work emails, no meetings, no deadlines, I realized something painfully simple. I had been living on autopilot. Not living, existing, checking boxes, playing roles, doing what I thought I was supposed to do. And if I had died that day, what would I have left behind? A resume? A few trophies? A drawer full of things that don't matter to anyone but me? The truth hit me harder than anything. I had built a life full of responsibilities, but almost no memories. Big lie. Number 1, I have time. Let me tell you the biggest lie most people believe. I have time. You don't. You keep telling yourself, I'll do it later. I'll rest next year. I'll travel when the kids are older. I'll pursue what I love when things calm down. Let me save you decades of regret. Life never calms down. Life never pauses. Life never waits. You think you're planning for the future, but what you're really doing is postponing the present, and that's how entire lives disappear. One later at a time. When you're young, you think happiness is a destination. When I make more money, when I get the promotion, when the kids move out, when I retire, then I'll finally live. But here's the truth. You will never arrive, because every time you reach the finish line, you move it farther away. You earn more, now you need more. You get respect, now you need admiration. You achieve your goal, now you need a bigger one. You're on a treadmill, running full speed, but never going anywhere. I spent my 30s and 40s chasing success, working late, saying yes to everything, trying to prove myself, trying to impress people I don't even talk to anymore. And now, at 53, I look back, and I can barely remember any of it. You know what I do remember? The moments I skipped, the vacations I cancelled, the birthdays I missed, the friendships I didn't maintain, the time I didn't spend with people who mattered. You don't regret the failures, but you regret every single moment you let slip away. My mother died when I was 47. I kept telling myself, I'll visit more when things slow down. I'll call her this weekend. I'll make time soon. But soon never came. She passed suddenly. No warning. No chance for a real goodbye. And do you know what haunts me? Not the things I said, the things I never did, the conversations we never had, the moments I never created. That's the painful truth about life. There won't always be more time. One day, there is no next year. No later, no someday. After the hospital scare, I started making changes. Real ones. I stepped away from work more often. I learned how to say no. I reconnected with people I had drifted from. I took trips I had put off for a decade. I started doing things that made me feel alive again. The past 2 years have been more meaningful than the 20 years before them. Not because I accomplished more, but because I finally lived intentionally. The simple truth: life is less about achievements and more about time with the people you love. Meaningful work, not impressive titles. Experiences, not possessions. Presence, not productivity. When you're young, this sounds cliché, but when you hit 53, you finally understand how real it is. I want you to ask yourself something honestly. If your life ended tomorrow, would you be satisfied with the way you've lived? Not impressed, not admired, satisfied. If the answer is no, then what exactly are you waiting for? Wake up. You think you're invincible. You think you have decades ahead of you. You think you'll start living later. But later is a dangerous word. Later is how dreams die. Later is how relationships fade. Later is how people wake up at 70 and ask, where did my life go? What I would tell my 30-year-old self, if I could talk to my 30-year-old self, I would say, stop trying to impress people who won't matter. Stop sacrificing your health to meet deadlines. Stop waiting for permission to live. Stop saying someday. Start calling the people you love. Start taking the trips you dream of. Start doing things that scare you. Start choosing joy on purpose. And most importantly, start now. Not next year, not later, now. Because the perfect time never arrives. You create it. In the end, I'm 53. I don't know how many years I have left. None of us do. But I do know this. The greatest tragedy in life is not dying. It's never living at all. Don't wait 53 years to figure this out. Start today. Start now. Because the clock is ticking, and what you do with your time is the only thing that truly matters.